everyone, my name's Brianna. I'm doing my first review on the article Behind the Veil. First of all, I found the article to be very interesting. I always love hearing about different cultures and their religion and their beliefs, so it's kind of like getting to know other people, and we see it here in America as well. For the first question, how does the veil contribute to the identity of women in the Middle East? Do we have similar symbols that convey identity and status? The veil contributes to the identity of the women in the Middle East by religion. People wear it for religious purposes, also to shield themselves from the public eye. I believe they said in the article, the evil eye of other people. So people with wandering eyes, men and women, kind of like a protection, privacy shield for themselves. Do we have similar symbols that convey identity and status? I would say, I mean, as an American, I guess not as much. I guess people who drive nice cars, wear very nice suits, have lots of jewelry, diamonds, that could kind of portray that person is well off or rich, essentially, like how the women, some of the women who wore that, it symbolized that she's in a family that is wealthy or well off. But in America, I would say, just stepping outside, I would say someone with a nice car or who dresses nice and, has designer clothing or anything of that kind. How would you define personal liberty? Do Muslim women who wear the veil have it? So I would define it as being an individual person, getting to wear what you want, do what you want. I guess just essentially overall freedom, express yourself through your clothing, your choices, X, Y, and Z. So actually, before I read this article, I always kind of thought, just from word of mouth, that these women had to wear these, hijabs, veils over their faces, the non-shaping robes. I always thought they were forced to wear it, so I actually found that interesting that they're not. And women do like to wear it to shield themselves from the public and, religious purposes. So that kind of is great. So I found that interesting. So yes, I would say they do have it. I would say they do have it. Why do Westerners typically feel that the veil is an instrument of oppression of women? How does this discomfort with the veil reveal American core values? So I think as us Americans, we've looked at people wearing the coverings as, a lot of feminists, like, women should be able to do what they want, which I agree with, and wear what they want. But I think that it's kind of complete opposite to American culture. Americans are more freedom to express yourself through your clothing and freedom of speech. And, when you see another country and you look at women who are, being forced to stay silent, kind of can't talk to anyone, have no voice, and being forced to wear these veils, it frustrates the American culture because we believe everyone should be free to do whatever they want. Although that is not the case, women wear it for various reasons. So I think that's why it brings some discomfort to American values, but people should do their research, and that is not always true. So overall, I found this article to be super cool and interesting, and that's all I have for this article. The second article I'm going to be reviewing is A Woman's Curse. I found this article to be super interesting as well. It's super interesting to me how other cultures can interpret things like menstrual cycles and even like sex or sexual acts so differently than what we, as modern westernized people interpret them. For the first question, how is the dogging cultural practice of the use of the menstrual hut a way of assuring paternity? So they know, the men in the Doggin know that women are fertile because they go to the menstruational hut and they're there. And then they're able to see the women go in there monthly. And if they are not going to the hut regularly, they know that they're either infertile or pregnant or unable to menstruate anymore. So they're able to sit across with a clear view and kind of keep track of the women that are going in there regularly. This article discusses how differences in cultural practice surrounding biofunction like menstruation, pregnancy. What ways do you think Western industrialized cultural practice work against our natural tendencies? So I've actually thought about this a lot as a woman who, has to deal with these womanly things. But I've also seen a lot of women who don't get their period regularly and they can't, and there's nothing really wrong with their bodies. But I think a lot of it has to do with the food that we are putting in our mouth. In America, I would say. I think that takes a toll on women being able to menstruate or even being fertile overall. I think we as women need to make sure we eat clean. Everyone in general, eating clean, not processed foods, fast food, all that junk, trying to cook at home. Also exercising. I think lack of exercise, as well as a poor diet, has a lot to do with it, especially in America, because everything has something in it, in our food. If you read the labels, I recently went to Australia. I go every year, and looking at the ingredients, even in their ketchup compared to America's ketchup, is so much different. America has a whole list of ingredients and Australia has 3 to 5. Taking care of our mental health. I think medication might play a toll into it, which is really unfortunate because, people need to take the medication. So it's kind of leaves people in a pickle. But overall, I think food, unhealthy processed junk food, lack of movement, exercise, and medication, I think, works against our biological needs. So overall, the article was super interesting, and it's fascinating to hear how other people view bodily functions. But yep, that's all I got for this article.